You've seen the milk jug watering trick, and it really does work. You punch a few small holes in an old plastic jug, fill it with water, and let it drip slow and deep, right down at the roots. No bending, no dragging the hose around, no money spent. It works. But there's a reason. The same worried comment keeps showing up underneath those videos. People keep asking the same thing, over and over. What is that plastic doing to my soil? Today, I'll give you the honest answer the science actually gives us. And I'll show you the one swap that fixes it. A little buried clay pot, about $5 to make, that waters even better, with no plastic sitting in your vegetable bed at all. And that little clay pot, the idea is older than the milk jug itself. Folks have leaned on it for centuries. It costs about $5 to $12 to make. It uses 60 to 70% less water, and it never breaks down into anything. So stay with me, because near the end, we'll build one together, step by step. Now, I want to be clear about who's talking here. I'm not going to tell you I tested this in my own backyard for 30 years. What I did was go through what the University Extension Services and the published research actually say about plastic in the garden. That way, we can separate the real concern from the panic. And believe me, there's plenty of both floating around online. My grandmother watered her tomatoes from an old clay jug she kept on the porch. She never thought twice about it. Turns out she was onto something. Here's why. First, let's give the milk jug trick its due, because the idea behind it is genuinely smart. Here's the thing. When you water with a hose or a can, most of that water just hits the surface and runs right off. It splashes, it pools, it evaporates. It never soaks down to where the roots actually live. The milk jug trick fixes that. The water seeps out slow, one drip at a time, and sinks deep into the soil instead of running away. And deep water like that does something important. It trains the roots to grow downward, where the soil stays cool and damp, even on a hot afternoon. Deeper roots mean a stronger plant, and a plant that can go longer between drinks. So you're actually watering less, not more. And for anyone with a sore back or stiff knees, this next part is the one that really matters. You fill the jug once, and you walk away. No standing there holding a hose for 20 minutes. No bending over every single plant in the row. That's the whole appeal, and it's a good one. So let me say this plainly. The method is sound. The slow, deep, set-it-and-forget-it watering is exactly right. The only thing worth questioning is the container itself. Before we get to that, let me clear up 3 quick things folks get wrong with the jug, because they matter either way. The first is too many holes. If you punch a dozen of them, the water gushes out in an hour, and you're right back to runoff. 3 or 4 tiny holes is plenty. The second is the cap. Leave it on loose, not tight, because the jug needs a little air coming in for the water to drip out steadily. And the third, the big one, is leaving it baking out in the open sun. That's the mistake that turns a handy trick into the very problem people keep asking about. Hold on to those 3, because 2 of them carry straight over to the better method I'm about to show you. So, let's talk about that worried comment. Is the plastic dangerous? Here's the honest answer, and it comes in 2 parts. Part 1. A clean milk jug is made of what's called number 2 plastic. That's one of the safer kinds. It's the very same plastic they're allowed to use for food and milk in the first place. Sitting in your kitchen, it doesn't leak the chemical called BPA, and it doesn't contain the softeners called phthalates. So no, plastic simply touching water is not the problem. Don't panic about that part. But here's part 2, and this is the real reason those comments keep coming. That jug was never made to sit outside, in the full sun, all summer long. And the sun changes everything. Researchers left this same kind of plastic outdoors and measured it over time. After about 284 days, it had lost half of its strength. It got brittle. It started to chalk. that dusty white film you've seen on an old plastic chair, left out on the patio. And as plastic breaks down like that, it sheds tiny flecks, far too small to see, right into the soil where your food is growing. Those tiny flecks have a name now: microplastics. And here's where I have to be straight with you, because this is exactly where most videos either ignore the science or twist it. Scientists are still studying what those particles actually do once they end up in our vegetables. They've found them in tomatoes, in cucumbers, in lettuce. But there is no official safe limit set yet, and nobody can honestly tell you the exact amount that matters. So I'm not here to scare you. I'm here to hand you a calmer choice. If you've got grandkids out there picking cherry tomatoes straight off the vine, why even invite the question? Especially when the better option is cheaper than the jug you'd have thrown out anyway. So here is the swap I promised you. It's called an olla. That's spelled O-L-L-A. And it's nothing fancy. It's just an unglazed clay pot, the plain terracotta kind you already know, and you bury it in the soil right up to its neck. You fill it with water through the opening at the top, and then something quietly clever happens underground. Here's why this works. The water seeps out through thousands of tiny pores in the clay, slow and steady, but only when the soil around it is dry. When the soil is already moist, the water just stays put inside the pot. The plant's own roots pull out exactly what they need, and not one drop more. It's self-regulating. You're not guessing, and you're not overwatering. The plant decides. The University of Arizona's Extension Service found that ollas can cut your water use by 60 to 70% compared to watering by hand. 60 to 70%. That's a real figure from a real university, not a number off the side of a box. And because it's clay, it never chalks, never turns brittle, and never sheds a single microplastic. It's the same deep, slow, lazy watering as the milk jug, just without the plastic. Now, you can buy these ready-made, but they get pricey fast. So, let me show you the lazy way to make your own, for about $5 to $12, depending on what clay pots run where you live. You'll need 2 terracotta pots, the small 4 to 6 inch size. First, plug the little drainage hole in the bottom of one pot with a dab of silicone. Then glue the 2 pots together, rim to rim, so they form one hollow vessel with an opening at the top. Let it cure overnight. The next day, bury it with the top hole poking just above the soil. Fill it up and set a stone or a small saucer over the opening to keep the bugs and the dirt out. That's it. One afternoon, and you've got a waterer you'll use for years. And the whole thing takes maybe 15 minutes of hands-on work, most of it sitting right at the kitchen table. No power tools, no heavy lifting. If you can frost a cake, you can build an olla. Just set the glued pots somewhere out of the way to cure, and resist the urge to fill them early, because the silicone needs that full day to seal up tight. Now, one thing here is non-negotiable. Make sure that tube of silicone says food grade right on the label. Plain hardware sealant isn't meant for this. Since your pot is going to sit in a bed where you grow things you eat, you want the safe stuff. It only costs $1 or $2 more, and it matters. But what if you've only got a pot or two out on the patio, and burying clay feels like more project than you signed up for? Then here's an even simpler version. Take a glass bottle. An old wine bottle works beautifully. Fill it with water, put your thumb over the top, and turn it upside down into the soil right next to your plant. Glass is completely inert. It never breaks down into anything, ever. It drips out slow, just like the jug did, and it costs you absolutely nothing. For a single tomato plant in a container, that alone might be all you need. And one more honest note, because I don't believe in tossing out things you don't have to. If you already love your milk jugs and money is tight, you do not have to throw them away. Just keep them out of the sun. Bury them in the soil or tuck them into the shade, because remember, The sunlight is the real troublemaker, not the plastic itself. And when a jug starts to look chalky or feels brittle in your hand, that's its way of telling you it's done. Retire that one. The clay pot just saves you from ever having to keep an eye on it again. So where does all this work best? An olla really shines in a raised bed or a good-sized container, planted alongside the thirsty ones, your tomatoes, peppers, squash, and leafy greens. As a rule of thumb, one buried pot keeps a circle about 1.5 feet across, nicely watered. So for a 4-foot bed, 2 ollas spaced out will keep the whole thing happy. And if you garden somewhere hot and dry, say USDA Zone 7 and warmer, this is where you'll really notice the difference, because almost nothing is lost to evaporation down underground. One more small thing, and then we'll wrap up. Keep the rim and its little cap 1 inch or 2 above the soil line, so dirt doesn't wash in and clog the opening. And give it a quick top-off every few days in the heat of summer, a little less in spring and fall. You'll get a feel for your own garden's thirst pretty fast. Honestly, it's about the least demanding chore in the whole yard. And here's the part I genuinely love about all this. This isn't some new gadget invented last year to sell you. Farmers across China, North Africa, and beyond have been burying clay pots exactly like this for centuries. My grandmother's clay jug on the porch was the very same idea, just sitting up above the ground. We spent a whole century talking ourselves into believing we needed plastic and gadgets for every little thing. And it turns out the old way was quieter, cheaper, and more dense. Didn't leave a thing behind in the soil. Funny how that goes. So let's bring it home. The milk jug trick was right, about the thing that counts. Slow, deep watering is the lazy gardener's secret, and your back will thank you for it. The trick just had the wrong container. The method was right. The material was the problem. And a $5 clay pot fixes both at once. So here's what I'd actually do this weekend. Don't go tearing up the whole garden. Just grab 2 little terracotta pots, glue them together, and bury one right next to your tomatoes. Fill it, cap it, and walk away. Then see for yourself how much less you end up watering. And here's the real question to leave you with. Are you going to keep refilling plastic jugs that crumble by August, or bury one clay pot that quietly does the job for years and never asks you a thing? I think you already know which one your grandmother would pick. If this helped you see that worried comment a little differently, do me a favor and pass it along to a friend who still swears by their milk jugs. Grow more, water less, and have a little fun doing it. Happy gardening.